Hey y'all, hi. It's Sunday morning. I kind of just woke up. I'm still in my jammies, which is a sleep shirt that Print Fresh just sent to me. It's one of their new prints. Love it so much. We'll definitely link it down below. I mean, honestly. I don't usually film on the weekends these days, but this just arrived. And so I'm going to just open it and explore the products with you. These are some products from Lisa Eldridge's most recent launch. I wasn't able to get one of the blushes when I finally realized that the products had gone live. They were all sold out, but I got the liquid highlighter, and I have a bunch of liquid highlighters with which to compare it. And I have one of the Lucent lip colors and one of the lip glosses. So you and I together are just going to play. If this is your first time to my channel, then welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hannah. I love beautiful things, but I prefer quality over quantity when it comes to beautiful things. And a lot of the beauty content that I make is based on a foundation of that preference. If that sounds good to you, I hope you'll subscribe. And let's go ahead now and get into the meat of the video. First of all, quality, quality, quality. As soon as I zipped this open, when I opened the package, which was yesterday, I just couldn't wait, okay? I just remembered one of my dreams. It's so close to when I woke up that I'm like just remembering my dreams. Sometimes I dream that I'm a drag queen. It's so profound. And I had one of those dreams last night. What was I even talking about? These products arrived yesterday and I haven't swatched the lip product yet because I wanted to be able to show it to you untouched, the bullet I mean, but I briefly tried on the gloss and I actually wore the highlighter yesterday. So it's not exactly quite a first impressions. It's just this is me documenting my first serious playtime with these three products. Anyway, when I first opened this yesterday and I unzipped this zipper, I was just like, quality. I mean, zippers, there are good zippers. It's like there are zippers and then there are zippers. Some zippers are totally garbage. On a little makeup bag like this, especially when it comes complimentary with a purchase, it tends to be a garbagey zipper, and this is a very, very good zipper. Here are the products in their boxes. Here are the products outside of their boxes. The Elevated Glow highlighter is in the shade Crystal Nebula. The lip gloss is in the shade Go Lightly. It's the Gloss Embrace. And the lipstick, the Luxuriously Lucent lip color, is in the shade Kitten Mischief. But I'm going to explore the highlighter first. It's a new launch. The other two products, they're just new colors of things that have been on the market for a while already. This is a new formula to the market, and I feel like it's the one to which I can speak the most because I have like a strong interest in this kind of product, like a versatile liquid highlighter, like a highlighting fluid. And I have a number of highlighting fluids that I use on a regular basis. I basically use them instead of primers these days. So I'm going to be comparing Crystal Nebula to these similar formulas, one from Charlotte Tilbury, one from Auric, one from Chanel, and one from Say Beauty. But first, I'm gonna put it all over my face. I'm just gonna apply it the way that I apply this kind of product, and then I'm gonna apply a little bit of makeup on top of it. I'm just ready to get some makeup onto my face. And this is how I use, usually the Chanel one and the Auric one. Those are my two favorites these days. I use them all over my face, and that's how I wore this product yesterday. The thing that surprised me the most about it, two things actually surprised me about it when I opened it and swatched it for the first time. The first thing that surprised me is that it's kind of dark in color. It's definitely like a tan, but it's kind of saved by the second thing that surprised me, which is that it's very liquidy. It's much more liquidy than the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter and the Auric Glow Lust, both of which are more like pastes. Glow Lust, when you pump it out, it holds its shape. And this, it's not quite liquidy enough to drip down your hand, but it's just thinner, more lightweight. It almost has a sense of like oiliness about it. It feels more like a serum than, frankly, I was expecting it to feel. And because of that, it blends out pretty sheer, and I find that it doesn't palpably darken the color of my face, which is what I was worried about when I saw the color the first time. So there it is, like in a thick application, like that's just a bunch of it on my cheeks. Now I'm just gonna blend it out, blend it in, blend it all over. Okay, there it is, literally all over my face, basically as a primer, which is how I plan to use it and how I use this kind of product. Does it look beautiful? Yes. I mean, it is an elegant formula, and I like the serum-y quality. It does feel sort of smoothing, and it does feel like it's not doing that thing where it sets such that it won't build, such that it pills, but it definitely did feel like it was putting like a smoothing layer on the surface of my skin. I know it's supposed to like tighten, it's supposed to have this like micro mesh quality. I'm not really into that as a claim. I just kind of feel like the shape of your face is the shape of your face, and like the idea that it's gonna like take years off your life and like, you know, give you plastic surgery or something is, I'm not into that as like a claim. But the quality of it, the way that it sits on the surface of the skin is very pleasing. And I don't know whether that's because of whatever is in it that is supposed to be this like slight tightening thing, or if it's just the fact that it's serum-y and smooth and really luxurious. So yes, it feels lovely to apply. It goes on beautifully. It's giving me that intense glow all over that I know that my concealers will layer beautifully on top of. But I think the real question here is like, does it look palpably different or palpably better than a face full of Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, a face covered in Auric Glow Lust, or a face covered in Chanel Les Beige? No, it doesn't, because when you have a liquid highlighter, like a sheer liquid highlighter that really lights up your skin and provides a super glossy base for you to layer other things on top of, when you have one that works even reasonably well, like when you have one that works, it's like you've got one that works and you don't need also another one that works and another one that also works. I definitely don't need 4 that work. I only have them because I review this kind of thing quite frequently on YouTube. But if I had, for example, just the Auric Glow Lust and I used it like this, or if you have the Auric Glow Lust and you use it like this every day, do I think that there's such a huge difference here that you should add it to your collection, which already contains a thing like this that works well? No. However, if you're looking for something like this and you've considered the one from Auric and you've considered the one from Charlotte Tilbury and you've considered the one from Chanel, and now you're considering this one and you want to know if it performs at the level of those because maybe you're leaning towards picking it instead of any of those, does it perform at the level? Yes, it absolutely does, at least as well as the best of those. It's just perfect. I'm going to go ahead and do what I do, which is to put like a mixture of green color corrector and concealer and BB cream in a thin layer on my face, maybe a tiny bit of spot concealing, and I think I'll probably throw on some mascara, and then we can proceed with the video. After I come back with more makeup on, I'll actually do swatch comparisons between this highlighting product from Lisa Eldridge and the other ones that I've been talking about. Okay, during the process of applying that mixture of base product to my face, I feel like I've fallen more for Crystal Nebula, what's it called? Elevated Glow. I feel like I've fallen for it more in applying stuff on top of it and feeling it has this like seamless feeling. It really, really does. This part of my skin, which doesn't really have any other product on it, like I haven't really applied concealer there, I feel like it does have a particularly blurred and yet super smooth quality to it. Like it does look really good. So I'm trying not to get like sucked in by the hype of the claims. You know what I mean? Like this, I feel like when you get a new makeup product and it is performing well and the claims are really magical, it's tempting to super buy into it and be like, it tightens and lifts the skin. It makes me look incredible. Like to sort of get this like delusional sense around it. Because I'm trying to review it, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to, be realistic. So what I will say realistically and very accurately is that it's a pleasure to apply other makeup on top of it. It feels like it blends really well. And the glow is still coming through, but it's not like competing with or detracting from the work of the concealer and the color corrector. I'm very pleased with this base right now. I'm just very pleased. One of the things that I like to do on the weekends to minimize the look of makeup, to keep like a fresher look, is to put something glowy all over my face. I mean, I like to do that every day. Who am I kidding? But then to really, really massage whatever base product I'm using into my skin like a moisturizer, and then to not work too super hard to conceal my blemishes. Like I'm not putting too much product on my blemishes, and then to not put a blush on. So I just let my glowy cheeks be kind of like the look. The fact that there isn't more makeup on my cheeks adding color, it kind of balances out the fact that there's not more makeup on my blemishes covering them up, or vice versa. It's like I want my skin to look like super glowy, super hydrated, blemished skin, which is what it is. Like I can't make it so that you look at me and you don't see the texture, you don't see the blemishes. By going minimal with the makeup, but kind of like maximal with the glow, it makes my whole face look like super glowy, textured skin. Super glowy, somewhat textured, but really, really natural and healthy still. And then I just kind of use the makeup to tone down the redness. So I think that that's what I'm gonna go for today. I'm gonna kind of like leave it at that. Maybe I'll powder just the tiniest bit on my cheeks to make sure that that stuff is set, and then I'm going to put the mascara on. The glow is actually looking so intense that I'm tempted to tone it down a tiny bit, like on either side of my nose, just in my under eye area. Yeah, it's still glowy, but it's softer. Yeah, that's basically going to be it for me for complexion today. Gosh, I'm really feeling myself, but you can tell that I'm like a little bit jumbled about this because I still endorse what I said, which is like, if you already have Flawless Filter, just stick with it. If you already have Auric Glow Lust or the Chanel product, just stick with it. Like it's getting you basically the same effect as what this is going to get you. And it does basically the same thing as what this does. I think that what I will say is that if you don't have any of them and you're thinking of buying one, I would say consider either the Lisa Eldridge or the Auric Glow Lust. Auric Glow Lust is really, really special, and it provides more coverage. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more of like a hybrid coverage product, more like a cross between concealing, priming, and illuminating, then definitely Auric. If you're looking for something that's really going to completely sheer out and just provide that like sheer seamless layer. Right now, and again, this is somewhat of a first impressions, this feels like the best I've ever tried. It's so good. I do like it better than the Chanel, except for that the color's a little dark, which brings me to the swatches. Let's do the swatches. So all the way on the end here underneath my pinky, that's Crystal Nebula from Lisa Eldridge. And then next to it, the next one in is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's in the lightest shade. It's a little bit more yellow. It's much lighter, and the product, the quality of it is much thicker. The third one there is Auric Glow Lust in the shade Morganite. It's also much thicker, more like a paste, just like Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's also lighter than Crystal Nebula. They all are. I mean, look how orange Crystal Nebula looks compared to all of these. But Morganite is definitely the pinkest. And then the second to the last, this one right here, that's the Chanel. It's really liquidy and really sheer. And the last one is the Say Beauty Illuminator. It's like a gel. Even though it looks pretty luminous here, it blends away to almost nothing. And the thing that makes it really different though is that it's a gel. It's like really squidgy. So I put a dot of each one across the top and then a more sheared out line of each one. And there's a little bit of a different angle. So Crystal Nebula is at the bottom. I'm just gagged by how much darker and more orange it is than these other ones. It's a bit difficult to capture illuminators on camera, but let's do some full hand swatches. So I'm gonna put Crystal Nebula all over the back of this hand. And yeah, once it shears out, the color does become imperceptible. And the serum-y quality, it's like it's got the lightweight. The thing that I like about it is that it's lightweight. And the only reason that I keep this Say Beauty product around, because I really don't like it very much, is that it's very, very lightweight and sort of watery and skincare-y feeling. And this has that quality too. It has that really lightweight quality, but the glow is much beefier than the glow of Say. Let's compare it first to the Charlotte Tilbury. I'm gonna put that all over my other hand. It's so much thicker. The Charlotte Tilbury product, it's physically much thicker, and it feels like it doesn't blend into the skin quite as elegantly because of that. However, when they're blended out, they are visually pretty much identical. This hand has a Lisa Eldridge and this hand has a Charlotte Tilbury. Let's put the Chanel on the other hand. It's really liquidy. It's the most liquidy of all of them. And so it blends out looking much more wet to begin with because there's so much that's actually wet in it. It's much more like a liquid though than a serum. The Lisa Eldridge one is like not this wet liquid. It almost feels like it has oils in it just because of the property of the serum. It doesn't feel oily, but it feels like it might have oils giving it the viscous quality that it has. So again, Lisa Eldridge is on this hand, Chanel on this hand. The Chanel Illuminator I really love because it's got that very pale color. It's the best match for my skin. And I like that it's thin. Sometimes, the Auric one's my favorite, but sometimes I don't feel like wearing something so thick, something that has that coverage. I always reach for the Chanel and put it all over my face on those days, but it's heavily scented. It's heavily scented. It's like the one thing about it that's a huge drawback for me. I always just worry a little bit when I put it on because it's so scented. The Auric Glow Lust, I'm putting that all over my hand. And yeah, it's so much thicker. Again, it's just like the Hollywood Flawless Filter. It's more like a paste. And it's much pinker. I feel like in this case, you can kind of see a little bit that it's like got a pinker color and a little bit more of that sort of like satin quality, the really blurring satin quality. That's on this hand, the Auric Glow Lust. Yeah, I'm willing to say that Auric, with its satiny quality, is barely perceptibly, perhaps a bit more pore filling, like a bit more texture blurring, in addition to having a little bit more coverage. Really splitting hairs here. It's a little bit different in that way, but the major difference among any of these, the major difference is going to be the tactile quality of the formula, the way it applies, blends, and sets. So the two really beefy ones are Auric Glow Lust and Hollywood Flawless Filter. The most liquidy one is Chanel. The one that's like a nasty gel is from Stay. And the Lisa Eldridge is like this serum-y, elegant fluid. Let's play with the lip products. You might have seen me cringe a little bit when I mentioned that I tried the gloss on yesterday. That's because it's way pinker than I expected it to be. It's in the shade Go Lightly. I'm really allured by the idea that it's like a derivative of an Audrey Hepburn lipstick. I like the idea of a gloss that really lights up the lips. I've been leaning into gloss lately. I have been more okay with pink toned things lately, but I was hoping that this would be a subtler or a more sheer pink than it appeared to me when I applied it just really quickly last night, kind of half in the dark. So I haven't really gotten the full picture yet, but it's a much brighter coral than I thought it was going to be. Okay, it was a much brighter coral than I expected it to be. The formula is more pigmented than I expected it to be, but applying it just now with a little bit more care, shearing it out a little more, overlining a little bit, it looks much more natural, more wearable than I was worried that it was gonna be when I put it on last night. And I was like, this bright pink lip, I can't with that. I look like a bubblegum Barbie. I actually think this looks beautiful, looks fine. I'm probably gonna end up wearing it. I mean, it looks relatively natural, doesn't it? Like it looks relatively natural on me. Okay, let me talk to you about the formula. Thin, totally non-sticky, but very nourishing feeling. Yeah, I approve. I kind of wish that I had tried the other one first because I would be happy continuing wearing this for the rest of my day. Like I feel like that, especially just with the natural skin, mascara, and then this lip. Based on the first application, I was worried that the bright pink would like be too much, even in a light application like this, that it would feel like it was overwhelming such a simple complexion and eye look. But in fact, it's not. I'm relieved. I was worried I had made a really bad decision in picking this color for review. All right, let's try the Luxuriously Lucent lip color in Kitten Mischief, which also isn't like the grungy taupey brown that you would think that I would pick. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more of a normal color than the kinds of things I go for. I think that when I placed this order, I was just kind of feeling like pushing out of my box a little bit. Okay, I really like this formula. I was worried that it would be softer, like kind of more squashy and slidey and glassy and sort of slip around and be hard to control, but it's not. The bullet is pretty firm, and I feel like it really is like an enhancement of my natural lips. It's really pretty sheer. I'll swatch the lip gloss too in a second. I realize that I haven't been swatching them. You're seeing basically my natural lip color through it, through sort of a haze of this color. And it does feel really nourishing. I was worried that it was gonna be kind of like more chapsticky, more like the Bobbi Brown crushed lip color, or more super slidey and crushy, kind of like the Gucci one. But in fact, it's a very sturdy formula in terms of the way that it applies. It's like it's understated, and I like that. Color-wise, also very wearable, leaning a little more pink on me maybe than I was hoping for. Like I would have liked it to be more on the mauve side, like have a little more gray in it, a little bit more grunge. Eminently wearable. Like it's gonna be really easy to throw on. I have a feeling I'm gonna be finishing a lot of looks with this, like strong blush looks or strong eye looks. When I want something on my lips, but I don't want it to compete with them, this is gonna be something that I reach for. I predict that I'll wear this more than I wear the velvets, because those mattes, that is a strong look. It's a little bit more of a statement, even though I really love the two colors that I have. And I actually do wear velvet fawn quite a lot. Even so, I imagine that I'll wear this even more. But only time will tell. And that reminds me that I'm realizing now that, especially because this is just kind of like a playtime, I'm definitely gonna need to circle back and do like a review roundup. And I have been doing like more first impressions type videos than I usually do. Maybe I'll put it on the calendar in a couple of weeks to come back and like update you on how it's gone between me and all of these products, and a couple other things like the stuff from Kaleidos and a couple other new things that I've been just like randomly trying on camera. But there's the swatch of the lip gloss, Go Lightly. So yeah, Kitten Mischief, it does look a little bit deeper and a little bit less brightly pink. But I think that I kind of liked, for right now, for today, I kind of liked the gloss better. The thing that I've tried recently that I feel like is a good comp for this, the Luxuriously Lucent, is Glossier Ultra Lip. Just in that they're sort of selling the same idea, you know what I mean? Like a hybrid product that's easy to wear, that kind of lights up the lips and is nourishing and comfortable. I like Ultra Lip, and I've been wearing the ones that I reviewed quite a bit. The one thing, sort of the only thing that gives me pause is that it's easy to get really sloppy with them because they're so glossy and slidey and squishy. And this, what I was saying about the elegance of the application, kind of the hardness of the bullet, in its physical quality, it combats all of those issues. I feel like this is definitely like a more refined version of something like the Glossier Ultra Lip. But since I have them here, I'm going to compare the color of this to the color of Villa, which is the Glossier Ultra Lip that's the most like it. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I decided to do this. They're pretty much color dupes. It looks to me like Kitten Mischief has a little bit more yellow in it. The color is just that much more carefully balanced, that much more sophisticated. Kitten Mischief is on top. It's the one that's closest to my thumb. So you can see that the Ultra Lip here is way glossier. I mean, not way glossier, like they're both, you know, they both have some shine, but it's a really, really high shine product compared to Luxuriously Lucent. And you can see that the color tones, like the balance of undertones, are just a little bit flatter in the Ultra Lip and Villa. It's kind of like the Luxuriously Lucent lip color is like the Faro and Ball paint version of this color, and the Glossier Ultra Lip is like the regular paint that you get at Home Depot version of this color. Which is to say that in practice, like they're both gonna work, they're both gonna give you what you're aiming for, they're both gonna fit with what you had on your vision board for your room, you know? But if you really want to pay a little more and do the most and go the extra mile to have that like sophisticated tone and layers of undertone, then you go for the fancy one. And also a finish actually in this case, because this like glossy satiny finish is also contributing, I think, to the fact that the color reads as something a little bit more special. But also they're the same color, like they're dupes. Like I think the Glossier Ultra Lip and Villa is a really good dupe for Kitten Mischief. Okay, that's all we're gonna do for today. That's all I've got. But again, I promise to come back and speak about these more at length in a future video. I'll do it intentionally, and I'll try to make it clear from like the title and the thumbnail that that's what I'm doing. So that if you're interested in hearing how I feel about these products a couple weeks down the line, you can like keep an eye out for that and be sure that you'll be able to see it when it goes up. But of course, you know, if you want to keep a lookout for future videos of mine, make sure you're subscribed. You can even ring the notification bell if you really want to be notified every time I upload. And more than anything, more than any of that, I really hope that you're remembering to take extra good care of yourself today so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.